Hey guys, what is going on? It's CruZzAve here and I welcome each and every one of you to a brand new tutorial video for our channel, The Guide. And under my last video about passing combinations, a lot of you guys have been asking which tactics I'm using for this kind of playstyle. And you were speculating if it's possession or even fast build up. And so today I will show you not only my standard game plan that I use all the time when I go into games, but also my alternative formations and what tactics and instructions I use for those. So let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video and if you want to see more on tactics. It's nothing too crazy, but I hope it will still help you guys out. And before we get right into that, I have a very cool announcement for you guys, because we've opened a The Guide Discord channel where all of you guys are free to join. We plan to build a community of like-minded FIFA players who want to improve at the game and want to discuss about it, share their knowledge, discuss about FIFA Ultimate Team also, and give each other tips how to improve at the game, maybe find some practice partners even. And so if you're interested in that, just hit the link down in the description. As I already mentioned, it's entirely free to create a Discord account and join the channel, and of course Taz and myself will also be there, so we're looking forward to see you. The standard formation that I start every single game with is the 4-2-3-1, and this has also been a very dominant formation in the current pro meta game. For example, at the eNations Cup recently, Dax used it, Nicholas and Maestro also used it in the final, and I believe even Yagochai played with the 4-2-3-1. And the reason for that is that it is the most balanced formation, at least in my opinion. You have a very strong defense because of the 2 CDMs and then the 3 cams in a row in front of that, so it's very difficult to find gaps in your defense. And then you can also have a very safe build-up play. You can play over the wing and get the ball forward, and it's very important that you have the safe build-up, that you take your time, because you have to move your team forward in order to then be able to play those passing combinations that I explained to you in the last video that I did for this channel. You can definitely go and check that out. Link is in the top right corner. And yes, so the 4-2-3-1 just lives off a very nice defense and then a dominant build-up play and very nice passing combinations in offense, because you have your players set up all around the box. You can play with your 2 CDMs as well. Then you have the 2 outer cams as kind of wingers, and then you have this big man in front. In my case, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, to finish the attacks and score goals. Now let's move on to the tactics. For the defensive style, what I use is the balanced settings. I've actually tried in the beginning of FIFA 19 to play with pressure after possession loss and pressure on heavy touch, but the problem with those two, in my opinion and my experience, is that there are certain scenarios when the opponent has a very good chance of counter-attacking and you just want your team to move backwards, and you're pulling your center backs, for example, backwards, and then if you have a pressure tactic, the rest of your team, the AI, is still rushing forward in order to put pressure on the opponent, and that can leave huge gaps. And for me, it just sometimes didn't feel natural, so I set the setting to balanced, and I feel like I can still put pressure on the opponent when I want to by just quickly switching players and moving aggressively using the AI defense with R1 or RB. So yeah, I feel like balanced is the best option for me. And then for the width, I'm using 5 bars, just a very balanced setting. I want to be able to defend both on the wing and in the center. And for the depth, I have a setting of 4 bars, just to be a bit more safe against counterattacks and not be too far up the pitch. I feel like personally I'm not the best at pressure play, so I rather stay safe and then attack the opponent around the halfway line. Moving on to the offensive style, a lot of you guys in the comments were speculating if I have it on possession play, or some others even that I have it on quick build up, but actually it's the balanced style as well, as you can see in the screen. So once again, you're just getting the best from both sides, in my opinion. On the one hand, you can have a very slow and calm build up, but on the other hand, you can also go for some quick counterattacks when it's possible. And I just feel like if you put the possession style, then it's just all a bit too slow and you're not really getting a move forward. And then once again, if you have fast build up, there are just some scenarios when the opponent is putting pressure on you and you're not having enough players coming short, they're all running away. So that's why, in my opinion, balanced is the best setting here, but I definitely know that some pros are having the possession style, so it's something that can work out for you too. The width is once again nothing crazy, 5 bars just right in the middle so that I can play through the center but also over the wings. And then for players in the box I have set it to 6 bars so that my players are actually going into the box, and I have numerous options there, not only my striker positioning forward but also my left and right cam, so that I can play some passing combinations and end up in the box where I can go for those shots on the goal. For corners and free kicks, just the standard setting at 3 bars. Next up we have the instructions. The striker I have on get in behind. This is a pretty standard setting that a lot of players have been using throughout the past FIFA years, and I know that some even have it on balanced. This year in FIFA 19 I've been experimenting with it, and I just feel like if you don't set it on get in behind, you're just giving up on some free goals when your striker is making that crucial run on his own, and you can just play a through ball and be through on goal. So that's why I still have it set to get in behind. The cam right behind the striker I have on stay forward so that I can use him for counterattacks. The 4-2-3-1 in general is not the best formation for counterattacks, but sometimes there are just some positions on the pitch where it's likely that you can still create a chance from going forward quickly. So that's why I want him to stay forward so that I at least have 2 to 3 players, and if the opponent is out of position heavily then I can punish that. And I also have him set to get into the box for crosses, not necessarily to play those lobbed crosses towards Nedved, but more that he is inside the box when I'm breaking through on the wing, so that I can play a driven pass towards him or something like that and then go for a goal like that. The other 2 cams have no instructions at all, they are just set to their basic settings. My 2 CDMs I have on cut passing lanes and cover center. The defensive positioning is a new option in FIFA 19, and choosing cover center just gives you this extra stability that your CDMs are really staying in front of your box in that central position, covering every dangerous passing lane there is towards the strikers, because that's generally where the most goals are scored from. So that's why I have that option selected. And then cut passing lanes is just another option that I choose if I don't have a CDM selected by myself, but he's being controlled by the AI, then I want him to automatically go into the passing lanes as well. But some other players don't use that option, so it's definitely one that you can test out and choose what works best for you. Some of you guys might be wondering why I don't have my CDMs on stay back while attacking, which is an option that a lot of players, especially pro players, are choosing. Well, that's just for the reason that I like to include them in my attacks, because I feel like without the 2 CDMs, the 4-2-3-1 lacks a bit of attacking power. So I take them up the pitch quite a lot and try to let the ball circulate around the box, and that's why they don't get any instructions for the attacking support. My 2 fullbacks I've set on stay back while attacking, because I want to have that extra stability against counterattacks. In my opinion, the most players are playing forward quite quickly, and I don't want to run into one counterattack after another, so I have them on stay back. And if I want them in my attack, then I can still use a triangle pass into open space in order to get them running forward and then pulling them up the pitch by myself. Next up we have my alternative formation. You guys should always have a second main game plan that you can use if your standard one is not working out. For me it's the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and this one I'm using mostly in 2 kinds of scenarios. The first one is when I'm behind and I'm just not creating enough chances and I want a different angle on my attacks and just some more power through the middle. Then I'm choosing this game style in order to just have a bit more options to create chances. And then the other scenario is when I'm against a high pressure player and I feel like he's having some gaps in his defense, but I'm just not able to use them in the 4-2-3-1, because the problem with that formation is that you only have one striker and he can get pressured very easily by the 2 center backs. And in comparison to that, in the 4-1-2-1-2 you have 2 strikers and 1 cam, so you can form a triangle between those 3 players and you can just exploit gaps much better in my experience. combinations against players that are playing high pressure but not perfectly defending in that style. And yeah, it worked out for me quite well a lot of times when I'm in the situation to be pressured in my 4-2-3-1 and just not being able to get that final pass in order to break free on goal. Then I'm switching it up, going to the narrow style and having a lot more success with that. For the tactics, my defensive style is pressure on heavy touch, so a bit more pressure on the opponent, also to switch it up in my defensive style and maybe catch the opponent off guard when I'm switching the game plans. And in general, as I said already, when I'm behind, I want to put more pressure and get the ball back more quickly. Then for the width, I have 5 bars, so once again the balanced setting, and the depth still set to 4 because it's not my completely offensive formation yet. Then in the offense, the style is still on balance because I feel like with that one I can create the most chances on a consistent basis. It just feels natural for me, so I'm sticking with the style. And the width is actually set to 7 because I don't want to be too narrow and too much in the center. I still want to have some options a bit more on the wing so that I'm not too easy to defend for the opponent. Players in the box I have set on 5 because I don't want everyone to rush forward. The 4-1-2-1-2 is already a quite offensive formation and I still want to have some options to play around the box and not all my players inside, so that then I'm getting stuck and don't know how to set up those passing combinations. And then for corners and free kicks, it's still set to the standard 3 bars. Moving on to instructions, the 2 strikers are once again set on get in behind. In the 4-1-2-1-2 it's even more deadly because both of them can make runs and you can also initiate them very easily by using 1-2 passes between the strikers and the cam, and that is just very hard to defend for your opponent and you will get your chances to break through. The cam is set to stay forward and get into the box for crosses, so the same settings as in the 4-2-3-1 for the same reasons. And then the left and the right center mid are both on standard settings, so I'm not giving them instructions at all. They just can do whatever they want basically. And the central defensive mid is also, as in the 4-2-3-1, on cut passing lanes and cover center. And this time he's also on stay back while attacking because I only have 1 CDM and I want him to stay back. I already have 5 players for my offensive game and so I want him to cover the back and be ready to defend against counterattacks. And the 2 fullbacks are still on the setting stay back while attacking. I just like that setting for my balanced game styles because I can, as I said, always get them into my attack manually. I don't need instructions or the AI to do that for me, so I have this setting and I'm going quite well with it. Alright guys, originally my plan was to also show you my ultra defensive and ultra offensive game plans, but with those two the whole video would be over 20 minutes long, so I'm going to cut it here. But if you guys are really interested in this tactics stuff, then please give the video a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section down below, and then I might show you the other 2 plans in further videos. Maybe we could combine that with some additional tips on how to close out games and how to get back into games. We'll see. So guys, please click the link in the description down below to our Discord if you're interested in joining the community, and also check out our coaching website if you want to get a FIFA coaching by an elite top 100 or pro player. Also subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any further video of the guide. I'll better talk to you in the next one. See you then. Much love. Peace.